Hello, this is Arredondo, and this is the walkthrough for my dynamic application project. The project is a expense tracker. So I'm going to walk you through the expense tracker. The expense tracker is a system that it's intended for users to use as a way to track their expenses. Here on the first tab, we see show all expenses. So if the user clicks there, they will see all the expenses. So right now I have a lot of data that I have entered, and they have a lot of functionalities here. So I'll start from the top to the bottom. Right here, we see there's a search box actually. So if a user wants to look for column, they can click here and choose one of the columns. So right now we can say that I want to look for all the food related expenses. So I do a submit, and right there I have to. Now we'll notice that this is going to be recalculated each time that the view changes. For example, if I want to go back to have all the expenses shown, I have two ways to do that. I can either click here and submit to bring all the expenses, or right here. So I'll do this. So right now you see how the amount has changed because there's a lot of expenses, and there's one for $50,000 or pesos, I don't know. So this is one of the functionalities. If the user wants to do a search by date, for example, if they want to look for October, I think I have some October. Yeah, I have some October expenses. So just to show that it's working, we'll choose from the 1st to the 31st. No, not December. Let's say October 2. Here. So here is the range. And this. You see only two expenses recorded for those dates. Now, we can go here. Expenses. So this is some of the functionality. Now, on the top of each column, I have added a link that allows the user to reorder the category, the store, date, cost, and description. For example, if I click on category, let's see if it reordered. So it's reordered. This column is reordered, and the same happens here. Okay. So now let's go here. The users have also the ability to upload an image, and the intention of this functionality is for users to be able to upload a image of the receipt if they would like to do so. So if I click here, I will see that I have an image and that it opens in an other tab here. So now this will only show links for those records that contain an image. And for example, if they have the ability to edit or to delete, for example, if I want to delete this miscellaneous Soriana, they click there and it is gone. Now let's go and edit this record. So they have to click here, and there's this other form that brings the default values or the values that were contained. Now, if the user had an image here, they will see this link, and you will see this button that allows them to delete the attachment. And once the attachment is deleted, it's deleted from the form, and it's also deleted from a folder called images, where all the images are saved on the server. So now let's modify this a little bit. I don't want to be, this is going to be for education, and it's going to be more. It's going to be $1,000. So now the record has been updated up here. And let's see, we can go to the next tab and see the add expense. The add expense allows the user to add another record if they would like to do so. So this form is bringing all the categories that are already saved on the database. Say this is going to be an electricity bill, and we paid it at HEB, and we paid it on the first. But for example, I'm just going to do a demonstration of the. We had some validations going on here. So for example, if I want to submit the form like that, we have this client-side validation done with HTML. So let's choose a date, and then let's choose an amount, 32, $2, and then bill. So that's going to record a new electricity, record. Now we can add another one here, and this time I'm going to try to do something different in here. Choose the date. It's going to be the 2nd, and then the description. So now if I do submit, let's see what happens. It brings a notice to the client that that field cannot be text because it is an amount field. So they will have to re-enter the data, the 3rd, and then if the amount is 43, and then testing again. So now they can add a picture in here. I'll add this picture and right here, and we'll see what happened. So they're always added at the bottom of the table, and then we have the link to the image, and we can open it again. Okay, so this is the functionality that the users will have on this main page. And this is the functionality that we have already talked about for the adding a new expense. Now, let's go to show categories. The show categories shows a table with all the categories that users have already entered. So they can go here and actually they can modify a category. They say food for the home. Let's say that it's going to be food for the dog, and then change. So that's changing here. And as the other views, you can perform searches by name and description. So in this case, I'll say that I want to look for the description. And since I added dog, we'll look for the dog right there. It's just like the other, you can bring back all the results by just hitting on the submit again. And at the bottom, I have placed the form so the users can enter any category. New category. Then the description is new. Add. So now we can see the new categories added. So now there's an interesting situation here. What about I have some, as we have shown here, there are some food related expenses. So what happens if I want to actually delete the expense category? Well, let's try it. Oh, it brings us an error telling us that there are some records that are linked to this category and that they need to be removed before removing the category. So now, well, let's try that with the new category. We haven't assigned any of the expenses to this new category, so we can go ahead and delete that. And it is pretty much the same for the store. It works pretty much the same. If we try to delete HEV, I think there are some records there with HEV we can try, and the same error is brought to the user. So the user can come and say, I want to add Walmart, and it's gonna be Santa Catarina. That's where I live, and we have added Walmart. So now we can edit, and I say, no, I don't want to be. I want it to be Monterey. I just made a mistake, and that there's no Walmart there. So I added the one in Monterey. And this is pretty much the functionality that I have created for this application. So now I'll do a walk through the code so we can see how it's divided, how things are going. And well, here is just some links that will take you to the expenses, that will take you to the stores, and things like that on the footer. Um, right here is the code. So I have separated the code into the MVC logic here. The index.php contains all the code for the controller, all the different actions like add store, add category, list expenses, list categories, list stores, and stuff like that. The sort are all in here. Searches, the searches that we do on the bar, mm, the ad expenses, and so on and so forth. They are all in this file, in this index, and these are being called by the views. And also this part calls many of the different functions that we have on the database, like this edit category. So here are all the views that I have created, like the one for listing all the expenses is here, and so it's actually bringing all the data from the database in here, and I'm using these HTML special characters to actually avoid any of the characters for HTML to be entered on or to be reflected on the view. So we minimize the risk of some vulnerabilities like XSS. Instead of saving JavaScript code or HTML tags in the database, we will just save the literal value of it here, or encoding. This is going to be doing the encoding. And so all the views are separated in the view folder, like the view, all categories, header, footer, stores, view, edit expense, edit category, record, all that, it's in the views. So now we have a file for each one of the different tables, like the store has its own procedures for the database. All here, delete store, select store, and so on and so forth. Here is a functions file that I have used to perform some validations. For example, this function in here, what it's gonna do, it's gonna actually transform the date into a database format, so I can go ahead and save that into the database. I have validated dates, validate date format, calculating the totals, expenses. This is the function that actually goes and refresh there the total. Um, I don't know, format currencies and all kinds of functions. Here is the function that it's created. I have created for uploading files. The one that's actually doing the uploads and deleting the files from the server. All those functions are there. And continuing with the model, uh, with the model folder, we have more database functions in here, but this time for the expense table, all that it's handling here. And we have the connection. We had to enable this part so I can throw the exceptions for the foreign keys. So I had to add this line there. And yeah, here is the category PHP code for all the category database interactions. So pretty much this is the code, and this is how it's divided. The main part of it, it's the controller that actually does all the operations. Well, it has a lot of lines of code. Now, in my project, I have added the CSS here, but in the CSS folder, I have added this font awesome folder because I'm using some icons for the footer there, and I use Bootstrap just to style the table, and the rest of it is done with normal CSS. Is the main CSS file that's actually having all the code for the CSS. And well, here's the Bootstrap. This one, it's actually having. I'm calling the one that's Bootstrap CSS. I'm calling it on the views, especially for the ones that have tables and stuff like that, like these all expense view. I'm calling the Bootstrap here CSS to bring some of the Bootstrap functionalities. So pretty much this is the project that I have created, and I think it has been a wonderful semester. Just learning all these things so with the MVC and PHP has been great. I'm really happy about the project that came out of B. And this is my presentation, and thanks for watching, and